Dude, I know a recession is coming because one of my best friends, who's a real estate agent, just told me that he wants to apply to law school. It's coming, man.
Okay, so my friend just texted me because she saw this listing on Zillow, and
you want to know how I know the economy isn't doing that great? Every single food truck out there, coffee truck, taco truck, ice cream truck, they're always changing the price. There's no point to get a printed like menu laminate on your truck or whatever, because they're just the price is gonna change so much, the ingredients to make whatever they need is gonna increase so much so quickly that they need to write it on a piece of tape and just like tape it over, and then a couple weeks later they need to re-tape it again. Even those like coffee pastry trucks, you know, people get a bagel, transplants come here and they're like, oh my God, bagel and cream cheese, I heard about it, let me get it from this stand. Obviously that's not the move. But even those places, those little carts, the coffee carts, the pastries, they're crap. But they're like expensive. I got an iced coffee, it was $3.50. It's usually like $2.50, $2.75 maybe. 10 years ago, you used to like have your menu printed, right? Probably paid a company to do it. You'd have it up on your store, on your truck, and the prices were probably pretty stable for a while. Now, who knows?
The biggest recession indicator should have been when tip percentages became minimum 18%. 15% is nowhere to be seen now, and now some places are doing 20% as the minimum. So tell me, after the recession, does that mean that we're going to bring the tip percentages down? Or is it just going to keep going up forever? Like, just imagine, in 2050, what if we're paying 100% tip on our food? Because the tip percentages never went down.
Y'all, I have a recession indicator. Yeah. And I thought it was going to come in a different form, right? Like, I know it's a recession. I know things are hard. I know people are grieving jobs and lives that they thought they would have during this time. And yeah, just crazy things. Even like family members getting taken away. It's getting crazy out here. But let me tell you the craziest thing I've experienced thus far. Ordered some Chinese food a couple days ago. Had the fortune cookie sitting on my table because I was like, don't really want it right now. I'll have it later. So then a couple days after that, I was like, okay, I want my fortune cookie now because I'm like, I want a little pick-me-up. So I opened the fortune cookie. Guess what the fortune says? It says, stay up to date with current events and news. Not I'm gonna find love, not look to the stars, not treat yourself. Stay up to date with current events and news. AKA watch out.
Recession indicators nobody talks about, but we're all living through. Okay, so apparently we're all economists now. Not because we got our PhDs from Harvard, but because we've all noticed that tipping 20% is now considered the bare minimum of human decency. Forget inflation. When my burrito now demands a $6 donation to the Save the Barista Foundation, I know something's wrong with the economy. Let's be real. When tip screens start at 18%, that's not generosity, that's extortion with good vibes. The economy's in shambles, but hey, at least your $9 iced coffee came with a side of guilt.
A recession indicator that's not just the hemline theory. That was true in 2000, 2008, and 2020. Stark increase of people registering to take the LSAT, sitting for the LSAT, applying to law school, and attending.
Man, these articles that's popping up in Metro Detroit, you just got to pray for people's wellness, man. It's getting hard out here. We have reached a tipping point. We're about to boil over, man. These are the biggest recession indicators. People crashing out over petty shit. A Taco Bell job application. Somebody at Benihana's was serving food or cooking food, and he just pulled out a gun. The chef pulled out a gun. Like, that's crazy. Like, you got to think about that. That's crazy. That's not normal. When you start to see the regular shit or the stuff become abnormal, it is time to wake up. It is time. Yeah, we in a recession. People are crashing up. They're crashing out over $11 an hour jobs. You cannot, man. This is crazy, man. And this is only the start. This is like, it don't even seem real. When I'm reading the articles, I'm like, what? Like, these articles are getting crazier and crazier and crazier. I'm like, people can, it's the mental, man. It's mental illness, man. It got to be. People are really feeling it. It's really fucking people up, man. Excuse my French. Like, we got to do better, man. We all have to come together and start checking on our people. We so in our phones. We in our phones all the time.
And another recession indicator, y'all really got to walk with me on this but men not being overly thirsty is a recession indicator now. Hear me out. Okay, so do y'all remember this, like, a couple years ago, ending literally, in my opinion, like last year, every time a woman will post a photo dump, it will always include a screenshot of a man saying the thirstiest thing imaginable or imply that she's somewhere getting spoiled. Well, the girls is not posting those no more because the men is not sending them no more. And to me, that's a recession indicator, because I just feel like men is not really spending it like that because they got to save it. So they're not even going to start the track record of like, oh, this is going to lead to me spending it. They're not even going to DM no more. I'm telling you, that's a recession indicator. Now, are y'all walking with me or am I reaching out? Some of the girls, y'all still get the messages. Recession don't matter. It could be a Great Depression. Y'all still won't get the messages. But y'all can't lie and tell me that it hasn't slowed down. Don't lie.
And it's not just tipping. There are so many little things happening that should have told us we were headed for financial collapse. Like the sudden obsession with hot dogs. Yeah, hot dogs. You know things are bad when people start calling them budget-friendly protein tubes. Listen, when the economy's thriving, nobody's talking about hot dogs. We're brunching on avocado toast. But once things get shaky, boom, the nation collectively decides maybe ketchup and mystery meat isn't so bad.
More things that are trending that are actually just signs of an impending recession. In my last video, I was reminded of so many different things in the comments, so I'm going to share all of them here. The first one is everyone's obsession with hot dogs. Hot dogs are nostalgic. They're cheap. They are for simpler times. You can buy a lot of them, eat a lot of them, store them very easily. They can be a sign of an impending recession. In a similar boat, sardines. The fact that people are openly, proudly saying, like, here are amazing recipes with sardines when they're usually not the most... Let's just say people are not fighting over sardines in the grocery store section. Emphasis on cheap foods is definitely a sign of economic collapse. In my last video, I talked about minimalism and underconsumption and book talk readers switching to only books that they already own rather than buying new ones. Definitely a sign of economic stress. People don't want to be buying anything new. They want to start holding on to what they already have because they can't afford to keep spending. Not many people realize this, but fashion is so indicative of what our economics look like, especially here in the United States. When you think of lots of colors and frill, it's almost like the Capitol in the Hunger Games. The rich people are going to be able to afford those whimsical, loud pieces. Start to see the average person start to dull down their wardrobe because that's all they can afford. It's also an emphasis on more practical, reasonable clothing. You have bigger things to worry about. You're not really focusing on, what you look like. People going back to whole milk all of a sudden. These things are switched as like trends. Companies are pushing them as if like, this is such a fun trend. Like, I think you guys should do this. In reality, they know exactly what they're doing and they know that have to push the items that people are going to be able to afford. Oat milks and almond milks are kind of more of a luxury item and not as many people are going to be able to afford that. And last but not least, jelly flats. I thought this one was a funny comment, but they're kind of onto something. I haven't done full research on like this specific phenomenon, but they tend to really shift into nostalgia when we are in recession-like periods. In my research, I saw a lot of like the early 2000s representing kind of more of that recession era. People are chasing things that are comfortable and maybe unconventionally attractive, but mostly because of the nostalgia. You're kind of searching for something, some feeling, and like a yearning for the past and better days. I said I'm not an economist. I think this is interesting to talk about, and there are definitely sillier examples, but I think it's really important to start asking these questions and paying attention to how we are being steered by large corporations and the people who have all the money and all the items, how they're influencing everyday people into thinking that they're the ones making the choice. I can make a million parts to this, so let me know if you want to see another one. Let me know if there's any that I missed, and follow for more.
Recession indicator, the rich don't want to be near you. I truly believe, and I'm seeing signs of this everywhere, where there are like new levels of exclusivity as people are like climbing the social ladder and trying to be around the rich, trying to be rich, all that stuff, trying to improve their lives. The people who are already in there, like the established rich and established wealthy, are moving away. There's like new tiers opening. Like airlines are now having more exclusive lounges that you can't get into with cards. Like there's just, it feels like each time, like the 90%, the 99% break that ceiling, or at least crack it, the rich build like another level with another glass ceiling. I don't know. It's really funny. And I think it's about to be even more severe now that we're kind of in decline.
Then there's sardines. People are suddenly proud to eat them again. TikTok chefs are out here like, try this luxurious sardine toast recipe. No, girl, that's a cry for help. We are officially in survival mode when our dinner can double as fishing bait. And have y'all noticed how fashion is reflecting the struggle? When times are good, people dress like they're in the Hunger Games capital. Feathers, sequins, neon. But when the wallets get tight, everyone's suddenly into neutral tones and practical shoes. Fashion went from main character to background extra in a sad indie film. We're calling it minimalism, but let's be honest, it's just I can't afford new clothes with a Pinterest board.
In the event that you have the luxury of not being able to keep up with the state of the American economy, I apologize in advance, but I gotta be the one to put you on. If you want to remain ignorant, by all means scroll. But after this portion of the video, it's all facts, baby. All facts. All right, getting straight into it. We're going to be discussing the recession indicators as of August 2025. All right, and the information that I'm going to be giving to you is coming from the Washington Post. The name of the article is Long-Term Unemployment at Post-Pandemic High, Straining Workers and Economy. So I took a decent amount of notes from this article, so excuse me in advance, apologies in advance if I'm looking down a lot, but let's just get straight into it, right? So as of August 2025, 1 out of every 4 worker in the United States is unemployed and has been unemployed for at least half a year, right? This is a number that economists say is only seen during periods of economic turmoil. The first indication is employers have frozen hiring because of all of these tariffs that are being imposed by the Trump administration, as well as these policies that are crippling businesses, American businesses. They have frozen hiring. They're trying to wait everything out. They're trying to see the final effects of all of these tariffs and these policies. The second indication is layoffs are rising. Weekly claims for unemployment benefits or insurance has reached its highest level since October 2021. All right. The third indicator is 1.9 million Americans have been unemployed for at least 27 weeks, right? This is the first time in 4 years that there are more unemployed people in the United States than there are jobs. Now, this is the 5th recession indication. The unemployment rate has exceeded 25%. It is officially at 25.7%. Now, this has only happened 3 times since 1950, and it has always happened after a recession. After, not before. The first time that this happened was for 1 month, June 1983, after an inflation-fueled recession. The second time was for an 8-year stretch following the 2009 Great Recession. And the third time was for 1 year and a half after the COVID-19 pandemic. All right. And now we're facing that again. Just to make it very clear, those of you who voted for this man to be elected, for him to be in office, you voted for an administration that has not only been imposing policies that has been crippling American businesses, but tariffs that have been crippling the American economy, to the point where there has not only been massive layoffs, but these American companies that are either struggling to keep their doors open or are so money hungry that where they want to keep their pockets full have frozen hiring. Okay, they have frozen hiring. For there to be more unemployed people than there are jobs available in this country, that says a lot. That's absolutely alarming. But remember, y'all voted for this. Y'all voted for this. All you red states, all you red people, all you MAGA people, y'all voted for this. Now let me introduce another issue with all of this, right? Studies have found that workers who are unemployed long-term are less likely to find jobs than others, right? Compared to others. And it's not because they don't want to find a job, okay? But understand, once you've become unemployed long-term, you start to lose connections. You start to lose contact. Not only that, your skill set starts to be less valued, not because you haven't put in the work, because you haven't been working. So the growing field, and understand most fields are growing with each season, you're losing touch. You're not there. You're not present. So you're not able to keep up with the times. So when you are applying for jobs and they're asking for certain skill sets, you don't have it available because you don't have the experience. And God help you. God be with you if you are a younger worker or a recent graduate, a recent high school graduate or a recent college graduate, because you're going to have it harder than anybody else. You have it harder than anybody else. Considering just for entry-level jobs, they want you to have a minimum of 3 years experience. Good luck. Now I'm going to share with you some of the testimonies that have been submitted to this article that has been published by the Washington Post, okay? This is the first one. I have 15 plus years in IT. I thought I should be able to step in any job, said Steve Beal, 47 years old, who has been unemployed since March 2024. When he was laid off from a 6-figure job at Best Buy's corporate office in Minnesota. But so far, I've applied to at least 300 jobs, and it's all rejections. Even with referrals, networking, resume services, I haven't gotten anywhere. This is the next submission. Felicia Enriquez, a paralegal in Los Angeles, lost her job in July 2024. In the 14 months since, she's applied to hundreds of openings without any success. Local government jobs have dried up. Makes sense considering all of these federal layoffs. And even temp agencies are coming up empty, she said. Her unemployment benefits, $400 a week, ran out in February, and she's 6 months behind rent. So far, Enriquez's landlord has been understanding, but she worries about what will happen to her and her 16-year-old daughter when that goodwill runs out. Already, she's relying on food stamps to buy groceries. She says it's getting harder the longer it gets. That's the vicious part. At the beginning, when you lose your job, you have money saved up, you have unemployment, things are okay. But when that runs out, then you really have to worry. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the unemployment rate isn't skyrocketing. It isn't jumping to crazy numbers. However, the job market has frozen. It has completely frozen. It's at a standstill. It's stagnant, which is just as worse as if the unemployment rate was skyrocketing, because nobody's getting hired. If nobody's getting hired, no income is being made. It's not being generated. You understand? And we have an administration that's over here more worried about paying tribute to one individual than actually fixing the fucking state of the American economy. The American economy that's in the state that it's in because of all of these fucking policies and these tariffs. And that concludes your update on the state of the American economy as of August 2025. Do what you will with that information. And why I'm just now noticing that I went throughout this entire video without posting not one screenshot or any of my sources. So here is the screenshot of the head of the article. I don't know why the picture's not shrunken the way that I did, but fuck it, we ball. Anyway, you can see the title up top, so you can go and check for yourself. You could go and fact check for yourself. But the article is found on the Washington Post. Yeah.
I now know that we are officially in a recession because I just saw for the first time a tilapia recipe on my For You page.
And let's not skip the dating economy. Remember when DMs used to be flooded with "let me fly you out" energy? Yeah, those days are gone. Men aren't sending "you up" texts. They're sending "do you got Wi-Fi?" The thirst is gone because the wallets are dry. Recession romance is real. But here's the thing. Beneath the jokes and chaos, there's a truth we can't ignore. People are struggling, yes, but they're also adapting. We're learning to stretch, to simplify, to reconnect with what actually matters. We're cooking at home, we're reading the books we already own, we're realizing that community is worth more than cash. That maybe success isn't about more, it's about enough. So yeah, the tip screens are wild, the sardine recipes are suspicious, and Dave's casserole might be a cry for help. But the resilience, that's real. Because if we can laugh, share memes about it, and still show up for each other in a world that feels like a financial fever dream, then maybe we're not in a recession of the soul. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to make dinner. Hot dogs and whole milk. Michelin star recession cuisine.